Wow. It's been a long time.
I don't even know what episode we're on.
I don't even know who you are.
Hi, welcome back to California Exploring, episode number 7. It's been a little while since our last episode.
It's been a long time, but a lot has happened. We have a lot of stories to tell.
Yeah, in our last episode, we talked about me going in for bariatric surgery, and it went really well. I know that you were a little freaked out at one point.
So the surgeon tells me it's going to be 45 minutes, and then it's an hour, and then it's an hour and a half, and then it's 2 hours. So I go to ask, and they're like, "Oh yeah, he should be out any minute," but he's still in surgery, and it turned out you got a 2-for-1 deal.
I did. There was a little complication that they fixed.
Unexpected, yeah.
But everything's great. I mean, I feel fantastic. The surgery went really well. I am doing much better than I expected. I think I talked last time about reading some of the Facebook groups and the horror stories that went on out there, and I've experienced none of that.
Because you're Superman.
I am Superman.
Yeah.
I'm unbreakable. Everything heals quickly and well on me.
And somehow along the lines, they also gave you some sort of infusion where we now shop at Whole Foods.
Well, it's...
I didn't think I would ever catch you in that store.
Well, it's the whole mentality of Whole Foods and the stereotype of what type of person shops at Whole Foods. And, being in California, I think that's kind of a stereotype too. The healthy living, kale, infusion probiotic. I still do.
You still do, but
I still do.
Drink it.
No, I don't. I'm eating healthy because I have to eat healthy. One of the things that's a requirement of this surgery and for the rest of my life is I have to eat healthy. I can't eat sugar. Sugar makes me sick.
We discovered that quite accidentally.
How did we discover that, honey?
I tried to kill you. So
with Jell-O.
With Jell-O. There's been a lot going on, which we'll get to in a moment. I went to the grocery store and I saw unsweetened.
Nope.
No sugar added.
Nope.
Jell-O.
No artificial sweetener.
Something about sweets and Jell-O. and it said no. So I grabbed it.
Yeah.
And I told
And Anya made it for me.
Yes, to make it for you.
And I got so sick.
Yes.
Because Jell-O's sugar and water and gelatin, basically.
Yes.
So that was a lesson learned. And probably a good one.
Mad at me.
You poisoned me. I mean, you just said you tried to kill me. This is 2 days after I got home. I was in the hospital for one night, which is the second night in my life I've ever stayed overnight in a hotel, hospital. The first one was, I was 4 years old and I had my tonsils out. Yeah. And I have never spent a night in the hospital since then.
Even when you got your hip replacement surgery, they
same
sent you
day.
home.
Same day. Yeah. Superman.
So, and obviously your kryptonite is now Jell-O.
My kryptonite is sugared Jell-O. Mm-hmm. So now I don't let you guys make anything for me that I don't check first.
True. Very carefully.
So anyway, back to the Whole Foods thing. I mean, we went to Whole Foods one time and I didn't buy anything, right? I went there because...
You walked around screaming about the prices.
Oh my God. The Whole Food pricing is really a thing.
Picking up something, reading the label out loud, which he now does for every food item.
Yes.
And then screaming about how expensive it was. that was.
Yeah. Yeah. So. Well, I mean, I went there because, the first 10 days I was on a
baby food.
No, I was on a liquid diet. Broth.
Jell-O.
Non-poisonous Jell-O. Sugar-free popsicles and water.
Yeah.
And that's all I could have for 10 days. And I actually started that a day before the surgery, so it was 12 days total that I did that. And then I could go on...
Baby food.
No, I'm not even there yet. And then I went on just liquids. Full liquid diet. It went from clear liquid to full liquid, which is, like cream of chicken soup. But everything had to be strained through a strainer. There could be no pieces, particles, chunks, lumps, anything.
All I know is anything I bought was wrong.
Yeah, pretty much. Then I moved on to pureed foods.
Baby food.
Baby food. Yeah. So everything had to be kind of put in the food processor or the NutriBullet and ground up to a disgusting, slimy mess. But I'm through it. It's been 30 days yesterday since my surgery. So yeah, it's been over a month since we did one of these.
Yeah.
But in 30 days, I've lost 40 pounds.
How much of that was your beard?
I'm growing my beard back.
Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You'll see. It'll be in like 3 days. It'll be awesome. I grow a quick beard.
Okay.
I did it with my
We're
hip
gonna
surgery.
do a podcast in 3 days just to give an update on the beard.
We'll post a picture. How about we do that?
All right.
Because we can post. It's a cool thing on YouTube now. We can post pictures. You can post a status on there. It's just, I don't know. It's something I do. When I had my hip replacement, I shaved my beard off and started over. And when I had this surgery, I started, same thing. So
Do you think that that's almost metaphorical in terms of like fresh, clean start and starting over and beginning once again?
probably,
Yeah.
this
This is my microphone.
Yeah.
He likes to point that
She
out
tends
every
to,
now and then.
well, you turn away from it and then I lose you and I want to hear everything that you have to say. All right. Anything else that we want to talk about?
So Thanksgiving is coming. And usually for Thanksgiving, we have this huge meal. And this year we have itty bitty turkey. Itty bitty turkey.
Well, we bought a turkey breast, a boneless breast, because the kids eat turkey because it's Thanksgiving, but it's not their jam. It's not really even your jam, right?
You can't have jam.
Okay, that was really bad.
I'll be making my famous cranberries in a can.
Cranberries in a can and spiced apple rings in a can, which
they don't sell.
They don't sell anywhere west of the Rockies. I found because I looked everywhere.
If anyone is listening and you have Musselman's spiced apple rings
in a glass jar,
I would like one very much, please. Thank you. Okay. So, in addition to dealing with your surgery,
yes,
we also, 2 days before your surgery, got a call from the doctor about our youngest daughter.
Well, do we want to go to the beginning?
Yeah, let's start at the beginning.
So, I don't remember the date. I mean,
September 3rd.
So much has happened since then.
Yeah.
It was a school day, and Anya
That's our daughter.
Anya, our daughter, is not a morning person. It's our youngest daughter. So
it's a nightmare in the morning.
So literally, since she's been going to school, I set an alarm. I get up and I go wake her up, and she's 16 now. So this, So I went in.
But, okay, in her defense, she sleeps through her alarm. We've had the fire alarm go off before, and she slept through it. So.
Oh, I know. We vacuumed her bedroom before, and she slept through it. So.
And we even went for Christmas last year and got her one of those, like, shake the bed, wake you up, guaranteed to wake you up, and she slept through it.
Yeah. So. We'll have to talk about that in a minute, too.
Yeah. We won't be.
So anyway, we're being all mysterious here. So 6 a.m, my alarm goes off. I go in to wake her up. She, as she usually does, barely lifts her head. Her eyes are half open. Says, okay, I know that she's going to go right back to sleep because I have alarms set for 6, and then I have another one set for 6:15, and 6:15 is the get up time. So I went in at 6:15, and she was non-responsive, and I could tell she was trying to sit up, and she didn't have control of her arm. She was kind of doing this, and her eyes are rolling up in her head.
And her hands were all.
I was doing that, yeah. And I could tell she was trying to talk, but it was like a moaning. And I'm usually calm and collected. You usually your mind goes to the worst thing that could possibly happen. So I tend to let's see how it goes. Let's see how she's doing. And you're like, let's rush her to the ER right now. That's our personalities, right? We kind of balance each other that way. But this time, 5 seconds, I walked into a room, I screamed for you. I said, get in here. And you got to the door and I said, go call 911 now. Because I was scared, and I don't get scared.
And it wasn't just that she couldn't talk. She was moaning almost like this.
It was
animalistic growl.
It was actually, when I got halfway to her room, I thought she was throwing up.
Yeah.
Because she was moaning and then snorting.
Yeah.
She was going, and I thought that from a distance, I thought that she was getting sick. And so I rushed in there, and then I told you to go call 911. You ran out to the living room to call 911. And I'm sitting on the edge of her bed, and I'm trying to get her to sit up, and I'm trying to get her to wake up, because it's almost like she couldn't wake herself up. I mean, that's the vibe I got from it. And she just couldn't do it. And she kept doing that. And I'm scared out of my mind at this point. So Suzanne's on the phone with, 911. And I pick Anya up and I carry her into our bed, because it's a bigger room and a bigger bed, knowing that the paramedics were going to be there shortly. And when they arrived, they came in, and she was doing a little better at that point. She could at least talk at that point. Oh, and actually, going back a second, I could tell she was trying to talk, because you came to her door and she saw you, and then you left to go call 911 right away. And she was trying to call for you. She was trying to say, "Hey, Mom," but it was like, "Hey, Ma." Yeah. Like that. And I'm not trying to freak anybody out, but it's just, it's something we went through, and that's why we do this, right? To kind of talk about, what we're going through. And so the paramedics got here, and do you want to take that, or do you want me to keep going and then you'll
paramedics got here, and at that point she was slowly starting to, I guess, regain almost like consciousness of where she was and what was happening.
Yeah, she could sit up a little bit and at least talk. And
they took her pulse, and it was really low, and her blood pressure was only 50/30, so it was pretty dangerously low. Yeah. And me and her got in the ambulance. Obviously, she rode in the back, I rode up front. We went to the emergency room, and when we got to the hospital, they put her on the heart monitor, and the treating doctor came in, and the first thing that she asked us was, "Has anyone in your family ever dropped dead unexpectedly for no reason?"
Yeah, that was a little later, because that was when I got there. Mm-hmm. But yeah, she did say exactly that, and then turn on her heel and walk leave out of the room. You don't walk into scared parents and say, "Has anybody ever died for no reason?" So that was our first kind of indication that, this was not just, an infection or Anya doesn't feel well. This was something pretty serious.
So I'm not sure what you're referring to before.
What do you mean?
You got there.
No, I was just saying, you said it was the first thing they said to you, but you went in the ambulance.
Yeah, the first time that we saw the doctor.
Right. You went in the ambulance, and then
So, and then Anya started kind of coming around, and she looked at me before you got there. She goes, "Mom, how hot were those firefighters?" And then she goes, "I did that for you." So she's making jokes, and we're laughing and stuff. But, her heart rate is still up on the monitor, and you can tell it's all over the place, and her blood pressure is slowly coming back up. And after that, it's just been all sorts of doctors and
they were talking about sending her, because here in Santa Clarita, our insurance company / medical providers,
our HMO.
Yeah, they have a urgent care here, but the closest hospital is about 30 miles away. Mm-hmm. So we had to go to the hospital here in town that's not affiliated with ours, because it was obviously a medical emergency, and they were talking about transferring her down there. So we didn't know if this was going to be days or surgery or what was going to be involved.
And then the HMO is like, "Oh, well, she's stable now, so we'll just do the tests on her outpatient and have her come back." Right. So they ended up sending her home like 6 hours later.
Did we get the EKG results that day? I mean, what was the first we heard
we did get the EKG results that day, because she also asked if we had ever heard of long QT syndrome. Right. Which I immediately Googled and regretted, because long QT syndrome is basically, and ultimately was confirmed with a genetic test that she has, is
it's part of the Sudden Arrhythmia Death Syndrome. That's not a scary enough name, too.
Yeah. So if you've heard of SID, Sudden Infant Death Syndrome, this is SAD. It's basically the same thing for adults, where her heart rate could just suddenly stop for no reason or no explanation. And so she is on beta blockers now to try and regulate her heart rate. But there's a chance that she can not wake up or faint suddenly, especially if she's startled or scared or anxious, and have to be resuscitated.
Yeah, so basically so she had to do genetic testing, as you mentioned, and she has an abnormality in this specific chromosome that causes this specific type of long QT syndrome.
So it's not in her heart, it's actually in the genetic makeup.
Actually what happens is because of this chromosomal abnormality, your body is continually, your heart's electric. I mean, it's an electric pump, and there's an electric shock that makes it beat. And just like a battery, there's electrolytes that have to be present in a certain amount using minerals to make your heart beat. And because of this abnormality that Anya has, it's possible that her body can't produce those electrolytes in the right balance to allow her heart to pump normally, so she could go into arrhythmia, which is the erratic all over the place.
Basically.
Her cardiac arrest is flat, but hers, this is what you need
right. And that's a possibility in the future, is to actually have a surgery to implant that. But
right.
For weeks after that, I was just completely scared she wasn't going to wake up. So I was sleeping next to her.
She slept in our bed for a while. She slept on an air mattress in our room for a while. You wouldn't let her. Yeah, you wouldn't let her in another room to sleep because you were scared she wasn't going to wake up.
And then I slept next to her in the living room.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we've had a couple of scares since then. They know us by name now in the ER. So
we just went last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, we walked in, the doctor goes, "Oh, hey, how you doing? How was this thing that happened last time?"
Yeah. So.
But you know what? She fought her way through. She's in the color guard in the school, and went to championships, and they got first in state. The color guard did.
Yeah, but she's a little shit because she told me she wasn't going to do the whole movement, and then I see her out there on the field.
But I told you she would. I told you if she goes, she's going to do it all. She promised us she wouldn't do the first movement, and if she felt bad, she would sit down. But she did the whole thing. I mean, it's state championships, and but she fought through and did the best she could, and was smart in practices. She did sit out when she had to, and she's doing pretty well. I think she's doing a little better now the guard's over. I think that pressure off of her has helped.
Yeah. And she's just a fierce little fighter,
Yeah.
and the doctor said as long as she doesn't get anxious, but she's a 16-year-old teen girl, so good luck with that. And then as we're going through all this, we had something else sort of happen close to home.
Yeah. All right, so it's getting a little darker in here, but, we got a few more things to go through, and it is what it is, and we're still new at this, so if we fade out to black, then,
Look at the pretty
have
tree.
a good night.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you mentioned
Close to home.
another close to home thing, and that was the Saugus school shooting. Did you tell me, or did I tell you? It doesn't matter.
I told you.
Yeah, you said there was a shooting at Saugus, and Saugus is literally like 2 miles from our house.
So Anya the night before had another weird thing happen. So we decided to keep her home from school that day.
Thank God.
Yeah.
So Anya doesn't go to Saugus. Anya goes to a sister school of Saugus, but
In
Saugus
her district,
is in her district, and they have friends there. They compete against each other in every competition. And Saugus is actually closer to our house, I think, than Anya's school is. So we flip on the news, and
Well, we got a text alert from the school district alerting us
that they were
first.
locked down.
Yeah.
That it wasn't a drill.
And there was an active shooter.
Right.
Yeah.
So we flipped on the news, and the reports were just all over the place. And I understand that it's confusing, and they're trying to gather the facts. It seemed like some of the things were probably reported a little too fast. Mm-hmm. They initially reported that 7 students were shot. Then it went down to 2, and then it went to 4, and then it was all over the place. They also reported that the shooter had run away from the school. That was he was seen running across this baseball field that was close to the school and fairly close to our house. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not like it was, right out back, but, we were under an alert to shelter in place.
Yeah, for the whole neighborhood.
So we had to lock all of our doors. And if we saw anybody suspicious to, report it immediately, don't go outside, keep everything locked up and secure. And of course, that turned out, that the shooter was on scene, that they had taken their life, basically, shot the other kids and then taken their own life right there at the school.
But I'm sitting there and I'm holding our girls watching this and just thinking, I can't keep them safe at home. I can't keep them safe at school. It was just such a hard thing to think about in terms of being parents and trying to protect your kids.
Yeah. And Anya said
on.
before, she goes, I'm scared to go to school.
Yeah.
She goes, I know something's going to happen up here. Because this, the community that we live in is amazing, and the people are amazing, and it's a great place to live and raise your kids. This seems to be where it happens.
Yeah.
This is the kind of community that seems to be a target for whatever that is. So, it was a really tough weekend. It happened on a Thursday. They closed all the schools here on Friday. It didn't seem real.
Yeah.
Like even the day that it happened, once they realized that the shooter had been taken to the hospital and was in grave condition, and the threat was no longer valid,
Mm-hmm.
and people could kind of go out their business. I left the house and Anya and I took our dog for a walk, and it didn't seem real.
Yeah.
And I could walk along here and I could see half a dozen news helicopters, which were here
Oh my God.
like
the
18
news
hours.
helicopters. Yeah. Just
Half a dozen of them. And
over the house.
they hover over the school and then they back off, and another one comes in and hovers
Yeah.
over the school. And it just, unless you had, the TV blasting, all you could hear is helicopters.
Yeah.
And it was like a constant reminder to us of what had happened. And, I'm walking down our street, walking our dog where I walk all the time, and I see the news helicopters, and it didn't seem real that right over there, right over that ridge, this tragedy had happened. But the community has
Been amazing.
it's really been amazing. The support for the kids. And actually, one of the things that impressed me the most was that they listened to the kids.
Yeah.
They had a vigil last weekend. 10,000 people from the community showed up for the vigil. There are fundraisers everywhere to help support the families, and even the kids who were witnesses to help get the help and support that they need. And one of the things that someone planned, and I know they had the best intention, their heart was in the right place, is they were going to line up outside of Saugus. Saugus was out all last week. This week, all of the schools are out for fall Thanksgiving break. So Saugus wasn't going back to school until
December 2nd.
December 2nd, whatever the Monday is after Thanksgiving. And their plan was everyone was supposed to go and line up outside of the school and applaud the kids and welcome them back. And the kids said, we don't want that.
Yeah.
We don't want these constant reminders. We just want to go back to school. And they listened, and they wound up canceling it. So I was really happy to see that.
Yeah. Just a lot going on in the last
Yeah.
month.
All right. So I think that's probably enough doom and gloom
So now,
for one video.
now that Thanksgiving is coming,
Yeah.
and the girls really wanted to decorate for Christmas, but I have this thing where I want to wait until after Thanksgiving to get any Christmas decorations up. So we compromised. So behind us is our tree, but it's decorated with sunflowers and fall leaves and ribbons and just celebrating kind of, change and letting go and beauty. And after Thanksgiving, we'll switch it over to our Christmas decorations then. But
And then I can't wait for 2020 to get it.
yeah, no
we
kidding.
put this year behind us.
Yeah, but we have a lot to be thankful for this year, and we're particularly thankful for also having a chance to share all of our stories with you and all of your support. And in recognition of that,
Oh, yeah. So it's probably too dark, but we're going to show these anyway. We have these awesome California Exploring stickers.
yay.
And, we just got them on a lark, and we thought that if you go and subscribe to us on YouTube, it's California Exploring. We'll randomly pick 3 people and we'll send you some stickers. So go subscribe, hit the like button, smash it, ding it, all of those good things.
Okay, boomer.
Oh God, my kid. I'm a boomer. I'm proud of it. My kids.
There's a generation gap between
I
us.
hear okay
right?
boomer now like 14 times a day. And I'm so over it. I literally contemplated for about 10 seconds starting a podcast called Okay Boomer.
Now we're just going to start one called In the Dark.
In the dark. That's right. Can you see me?
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. And again, thanks for supporting us. And
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.